house to get the ball.
Hey guys, welcome to today's video. It's been a little while since I've done a video like this talking about some of the complexities of life after having lost a child. So my little baby is now 5 months old, and these are kind of some thoughts that have been on my mind a lot lately, but as most of you know, her dad and I separated early on during my pregnancy with her, and during that time I felt like I couldn't give a lot of energy or focus to my grief around my daughter and the way that being pregnant with another girl and having another baby, especially in the house that my daughter passed away in, and then raising another little girl, I couldn't give focus to those thoughts in relation to my loss. I had to focus on surviving the separation and coming to terms with the way that my life now looked as a single mum, and making sure that their dad and I could get to a healthy place where we could put the children's needs first and have a stable co-parenting relationship, and we've been able to do that. And so the things that I'm going to talk about today are thoughts that I have had and things that I have been experiencing during this time that I haven't really talked about yet. As always, this is only my experience. I can only speak to the things that I am going through, and so I'm not trying to say that this is what everyone who has another child after loss and has multiple children after loss feels, but this is just my experience. So let's jump into the video. Today I'm going to specifically be talking about what it has been like to see my rainbow baby, which is just a term used to describe a child who is born after loss, what it has been like giving him a sibling. So I had my oldest daughter back in 2020, and she passed away when she was 2 months old. A couple of years after that is when I had my rainbow baby, my son Echo. He is now 2.5, and when he was just older than 2 is when I gave birth to our third baby, another little girl. The dynamic of the number of children that I had versus the number of children that were alive was something that I really struggled with from the very beginning, thinking about giving birth twice but only having one child and not getting to see my daughter and my son be siblings together, raising my son and him not getting to be the second born and being raised as the oldest child was something that I always felt weird about, because it just goes against nature. Obviously there's nothing that I can do about it, but it's just something that I consistently thought about, was that my son was supposed to be the baby and he was supposed to have an older sibling, and the way that he was supposed to be in this world was supposed to be different, because he would have had an older sibling the same way that Eva's experience growing up has been, that she has always had an older sibling there with her. And so that is something that I consistently think about. And now with Eva being born, giving birth and being pregnant 3 times, to now only have 2 children on this earth, it's just something that feels a bit weird. I'm just going to turn the aircon off because I feel like it's noisy. Yeah, so I always wanted either 2 or 4 children. I didn't want to have an odd number because I'm the middle child and I strongly believe in middle child syndrome, so I didn't want to have a middle child. However, that complicates things now because I have given birth 3 times, but I only have 2 children. If I were to have a third, so that I could have more children, I would have to have a 4th, but I do not want to be pregnant 5 times. I do not want to give birth 5 times. They have progressively gotten more difficult. So I'm a bit sad that I don't get to raise more children. I don't think I could physically handle going through 5 pregnancies and 5 births, even though they have been good. I definitely noticed the toll on my body, especially with this little girl. Yeah, so now I have 2 living children, and Eva is the baby and she gets to have her big brother, and it has been such an interesting experience observing and experiencing having multiple children and getting to see my children be siblings. The interesting thing about Echo, my son, is that he has always acted as if he is a sibling. He does not behave like an oldest child. He behaves like he has had to share, like he has shared his parents, like he has shared his things, which physically he hasn't. But I've always made an effort to keep Noah Lee, our oldest, a part of our lives. He knows about her. We visit her grave. She's talked about. Her things are still around the house, and I will say, those are Noah Lee's, or this used to be Noah Lee's, or just things like that. So I think that potentially that has helped him to be aware that he is not an only child, and that's a huge part of why I wanted to name my second born Echo, is because an echo comes after something else. It leaves room for whatever came first. So even though when it was just him it looked like he was our only child, and he appears to be the oldest child, which I guess technically now he is, his name holds space for his big sister. Imagining Echo as a younger sibling, I am sad that I don't get to witness that, but whoa baby girl, let's lay you down. It has been such a joy getting to see him be an oldest sibling. So I think some of the feelings that I'm going to talk about now are probably relatable for most parents who are about to bring another baby into the family. I worried about, oh darling, is that right? I worried about Echo feeling like he wasn't getting enough attention from me, having to split my time. I am very intentional about the way that I interact with my children, and I want to put forward a calm and enjoyable energy for them so that they feel like every moment we get to spend together is an enjoyable time together. And it's quite stressful, the thought of bringing a new baby into the home and having to split your energy and having all of that need for the new baby versus your older child. I feel like everyone can probably relate to that feeling, and it definitely was difficult, but the way that I thought Echo would react, I expected more tantrums, I expected him to be really jealous, I expected to have to be worried about him near his sister, not being gentle. Oh my goodness, you've got hair all over your face. My postpartum hair loss is crazy at the moment. It is everywhere. But anyway, I expected these behavioural changes in my son, and I'm still waiting for them to happen because he is obsessed with you. And she's obsessed with him. It is so nice to watch Echo as an older sibling. He is so protective of her. He constantly is checking on her, and the way that he talks to her is just adorable. Every morning he asks, "Where's baby Eva?" And as soon as he sees her, he laughs and he's like, "Hi baby Eva." He shares his favourite toys with her. He will take them to her and say, "You can have them." And when she's crying, he'll ask if she's okay, and he'll say, "I'm here, mummy's here, papa's here." It is adorable. He does not seem jealous of the time that I have to split between the two of them anymore, and like I said, I'm really intentional about that, so I do make a huge effort to be giving him as much attention as I possibly can and not be saying that baby Eva is taking my attention away from him. Like, no, I can't because of baby Eva. No, I can't because of baby Eva. This, that, and the other. I do make a real effort to spend one-on-one time with him, and to make sure that I can cater to him while I'm also catering to Eva. But when I am feeding her and can't do something for him immediately, he is so understanding. Occasionally he'll be like, "Mama, put baby Eva down over here," and he'll be pointing to the baby lounger, which is where I usually put her down if I do need to do anything. And it's just so funny that he knows and he understands that when baby Eva is down there, Mum has her hands free to do things for and with him, which is so sweet. But honestly, I'm just in awe of the relationship that these two have, there has been no negatives at all. And the only issues that we did have very initially when she was a newborn and obviously needed me so much, was that their dad took care of Echo mostly and I took care of Eva. But I really struggled with that, and so I kept trying to give more to Echo when I actually couldn't, and so I was getting a little bit stressed. But also their dad had different parenting styles to me, and Echo and I have been very routine in the past with the way that we do things, and that worked really, really well. And so there was an adjustment period where Echo did struggle, but that was less about baby Eva and more about his dad and I finding a balance between just the parenting styles, which has happened now, and it is back to being amazing. Having another baby girl hasn't been a scary thing. I feel sad about every aspect of my life. Like, the more life that I experience, the more I have to mourn and be sad that Noah Lee is not a part of it. And I really did initially dig my heels in and try to reduce the amount of life lived so that there was less for me to mourn. But now with 2 children, it's inevitable. Excuse me. This is like the only frustrated noise that she makes, and she's teething really bad at the moment, and so she is making that frustrated noise often. But she's not really like a huge crier or anything. That was a side note. Yeah, so like I said, I tried to reduce the amount of life that I lived and the amount of sadness that I would have to feel towards not having Noah Lee be a part of that. But with 2 children, they bring so much joy, and you just want to give them the whole entire world. And so I've had to put aside the way that I feel for them, and that's okay. Like I said, the joy is insurmountable. However, I think that with everything good, I feel a small level of sadness. There's just always this layer that is sad that Noah Lee is not a part of it, that I didn't experience teething with Noah Lee. Oh my goodness, can you maybe shh, because Mummy's filming. Can you maybe shush? What do you think? Even just like all of these little moments, I didn't get to have them with Noah Lee. I didn't get to anything. I only had her for 2 months, and I learned and loved so much about her in that time, but obviously there is just so much more that I didn't get to experience. But those things, like having Eva here and raising her and loving her and experiencing her, that does not trigger me in terms of my loss. It just makes me feel sad. What triggers me is things that are too close to the loss, like everything that happened around Noah Lee's death, the way that she passed away, the ambulances, the hospital. When I hear about things or see things or hear things that are like a loss like that, that is what triggers me and makes me panic. But other than that, I feel a little bit sad that Noah Lee is not here for any of this. And I bring this up, like I talk about the sadness, because there is this huge misconception or expectation on people who have had a loss and are grieving that things get better, that eventually it doesn't hurt as bad, like all of these expectations that I just have not been able to live up to. And I want to talk about that because I feel like there are so many other people that feel the same, that also are not healing and have not healed from the loss of a child, and yet we keep that part of us quiet because of the reactions that we get, the disbelief from people who haven't experienced loss, who are shocked that you could still feel so sad and still hurt so much for. And especially with a baby, someone that you haven't known for so long, like they are literally my flesh and blood. I made these babies. I love them with everything that I have, and because of that love, I hurt for them with everything that I have as well. You are so strong. You just stood up all by yourself. You did. As I mentioned earlier in the video with the separation from my husband, things are going really, really well for us. We have a great understanding. We don't hate each other. We both just know that we are happier apart, and that is how things have to be right now. But the change in our lives, the way that I imagined my life to be, the way that I imagined my family dynamic to be, and what I had hoped for the children, that is a loss and a grief in itself. And I really, really couldn't handle having both of those things at once. And so I have not been able to feel as much for my baby girl, Noah Lee, as much as I have given in the past. The way that my brain is constantly thinking and feeling and hurting in every like small aspect of my life, things that on a daily basis you don't even think about and don't even consider, you just experience. For me, I have complex thoughts and emotions towards those simple things, and so I am constantly emotionally drained, and having both those losses at the same time, I couldn't give energy to both of them. So things have been a little bit different for me. Honestly, easier. Like, I feel really sad saying this, but I had to put aside how I felt about the loss of my daughter to the side, because I just didn't have the capacity, and I have been able to I don't want to say the word heal, because that is a misconception, but I have been able to give more focus to myself, getting to a better baseline. My baseline has always been so low, and I have to do things every single day to lift myself up, to lift myself above this sad baseline that I have. And my children are a huge part of that. They make me so happy, but also like every day I do little things for myself to lift my energy, to make me feel good just for a little bit. Kind of a distraction, if only for a moment, to forget that as much joy as I have in my life, I will never be able to be simply happy. I stumble over explaining that because I feel like it will be misconstrued, or I feel a little bit guilty saying that, like having another 2 children should like erase the pain that I feel. I should just be grateful that I have these 2, and I am so grateful, but it doesn't erase the pain for Noah Lee. And I want to keep acknowledging that. I want to keep talking about that, especially when, okay, I'm just gonna like fully sideline here and talk about back when I first lost my daughter, and I would be online trying to find people who I could relate to, trying to find someone to validate the way that I felt. And the people that I was seeing, they were showing happy moments, and they were showing themselves smiling, and just happy life experiences. And I could not imagine being in a place where I could be happy in this life without my daughter. And so I couldn't relate to those people, and I felt extremely isolated. And so now that I myself am experiencing, excuse me, she's not hungry, I just fed her. She's just grizzly. But yeah, I couldn't relate to that. And can I just get one little remark out, darling, and then I will be finished, I promise. All I wanted to say was that I do show and experience now a lot of joy and happiness because of my children, and because of the way that I am choosing to live my life now as a single mom, to prioritize enjoying the simple things in life, like just making it a priority to not need like not waiting for big things to happen to make me happy, but to actually just enjoy every single day with my children. I also want to bring to attention that none of that erases the hurt and grief for my daughter, and I want to show how that manifests in daily life. Eva, I'm sorry if you didn't hear a single thing I said in this video. I'm just going to end it here. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Now you be quiet.